I'm sorry, guys. As I told you guys last week, that's my turn up anthem. So my apologies in advance. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Connect with Your Destiny podcast. I am your host, Tiana Nicole, and I look forward to spending the remainder of my evening with all of my Conquerlistas out there. See, I got it, y'all. I should have it seeming as though I invented the word, right? Just as I do every Monday, I want to always hope that you guys had nothing less than an enjoyable and most importantly inspired weekend. As you all know, I am your Monday night host, your instructor, your confidant, your encourager. I'm whatever you need me to be if it means you're excelling into your purpose. For those of you who aren't acquainted with me, I'm Tiana Nicole, owner and editor-in-chief of Connect Magazine, a women empowerment movement, designed to inform, inspire, and motivate women globally to take action of their lives by executing their visions. If you're new to the show, I definitely want to be the first to welcome you to the spring semester of our Connect with Your Destiny podcast, which happens to be a pod class that is powered by none other than Connect Magazine. Surprisingly, today we don't have any messages or any news on the bulletin board that we need to discuss or share with you guys. Woo! That's definitely a first because recently we've dubbed ourselves as being the queen of sharing news. So definitely give us a hand. So definitely with no order of other business on the bulletin board, I would definitely say that it's about that time, baby. Oh yeah, class is now in session. If you tuned in last week, that means that you're definitely up to speed on the topic of which we covered. If for whatever reason you need to catch up on episodes, definitely catch the replay of last week's episode and the previous episodes. And you can catch the replay at connectmagazine.com. That's KONECT magazine.com. Last week we touched bases on the topic of dissipating to elevate. Dissipating to elevate, it simply means that you have made a choice to detach yourself from things and or people who aren't adding value into your life. Okay? So you've made a conscious decision to detach yourself from things and people who aren't adding value into your life in order for you to prosper. Because the truth of the matter is that oftentimes certain blessings aren't granted to us because of the things and the people that we have around us. Now that's deep. I found myself many times asking myself, God, why me? Why haven't you blessed me with the things that I'm inspiring? I continue to hear all of these stories from all of these individuals around me who continuously tell me that you're pouring into them and blessing them left and right. Why not me? And then one day, I suddenly had to ask myself, why not me? Well, go figure. It's not me because he's not going to bless me with things that I desire if I have the wrong people around me to take those things away. So I had to understand that, and I had to change my mindset that God will soon bless me when the time is right and when I'm ready. And I needed to change my mindset to understand that I'll be ready when I remove those toxic things from my life. But what happens when we take that leap and we actually start to listen to our intuitions and we start to detach ourselves from certain situations in order to make room for our blessings? The age-old question is simply, are you preparing for what you're praying for? So that's our topic for today. Are you preparing for what you've been praying for? Are you ready? Do you think you're ready? And what I mean by are you preparing for what you're praying for example, are you dressing for the job you want and not the job that you currently have? Are you setting yourself up for success in all areas of your life? Yes, you should be commended for making the necessary adjustments needed in order to make room for your blessings. But have you absolutely positively prepared yourself for the actual arrival of your newfound blessings? Have you prepared? If your answer was no to any of the questions that I just asked above, then guess what? You're definitely in the right place this evening because this class is just for you. As I mentioned before, I'm a firm believer in the Lord above. I'm a firm believer in God, and I'm a firm believer in prayer. I've also been very vocal to make mention to say that to each is to own. However, for me, my own is having faith in prayer. And most importantly, having faith in God. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to be very clear up front. It is not my intention to go against anyone's religious beliefs. However, it's also not my intentions to abandon my own. So definitely, with that being said, with all due respect, if you're tuned in with us right now, I want you to know that what I'm about to express, if it goes against your own religious beliefs, I totally understand if you decide to set this episode to the side and tune in next week or set this episode out, because I have no doubt that we're about to take this topic to church. From the airways to the pews, we're about to take this topic to the church. I believe wholeheartedly that the God that I serve is the God of wealth and abundance. He urges for us to live our lives to the fullest. And in addition to that, he also wants us to live abundantly while doing so. That is his hope for us. And I know this to be true because he says, and I quote, he will give us favor that surrounds us a shield. I'm going to repeat that. He will give us favor that surrounds us a shield. What that simply means for me is that God is a man of his word. So what happens when he has more in store for you than what you currently have? Or better yet, what happens when he has more in store for you than what you've prayed for? Have you prepared yourself for your financial freedom? Have you prepared how you will deal with having financial freedom? Have you prepared for new devils, new levels? Oftentimes, people speculate and they want the things of which they think we have. But what happens when they want the things that they know you have? Are you prepared to deal with that? What contingency plan do you have in place? What plans do you have in place to face those challenges head on? Are you prepared for your dream business? Are you prepared for your dream spouse? Have you made the necessary adjustments needed in order to be someone's spouse? Have you prepared for your dream family? And so forth and so on. Have you dug the ditch for the things that will fill that empty void? Have you done that? If you have faith that God will provide you with abundance, why haven't you begun to dig your ditches? Why? We need to be digging ditches just as Elijah had done in the Bible. And just in case you're not familiar with this particular section of the Bible or this particular story from the Bible, it's actually in Kings. I can't really remember per se exactly which verse, but it's actually in the King's Testament. But Elijah was given instructions by God himself to fill the valley with ditches. And what God wanted Elijah to do, he wanted Elijah to dig even though the valley was a blazing hot desert and the chance of a rainstorm was slim to none. Yet he wanted him to dig those ditches in preparation of the storm to come. Now, keep in mind, though Elijah was aware of the condition, he was still obedient. He was still obedient in what God wanted him to do, which ultimately resulted in him digging ditches even when he thought it was meaningless. He was obedient. He dug those ditches because he had faith that God would bring about water and rain to fill those ditches. He had faith that water would fill the ditches where it was unheard of. And he had faith because he knew that God would provide them with a supernatural abundance.